Hey y'all. So, as you already know, we have a super powerful full moon that is coming upon us on August the 19th, 2024, in the sign of Aquarius. And at this particular time, along with the full moon, the energy in the skies are bringing forth chaos, tension, struggle, just thickness, and not necessarily bad, change and transformation and sudden shocking events, all of those things. But we're going to talk about why this full moon and all of those energies at this particular moment in time is doing what they're doing. We're going to talk about those details, tease it out, and describe how it's going to be affecting each and every one of you based on your sun, moon, or rising signs. But first, before we even get into that, let's talk about what a full moon actually is. So a full moon is an opposition between the moon and the sun. And sometimes we can categorize oppositions as challenging energy. It really just depends on what sign the sun and the moon are in, and do those signs or their ruling planets, do they play nicely? Right? So you have the sun and the moon sitting across from each other, giving us our full moon. And in full moon energies bring forth with it a burst of energy. A surge of energy that energizes us to move and to do things, to make action, where we didn't before. So if you had a desire to change something, if you had an idea, if you wanted to do something, and you have a full moon hitting it with its burst of energy, you're going to move on that thing. But full moon's energy is so unrefined, is so unprocessed. It's kind of chaotic in itself, because it's just new and it's just a burst of thing. Although it has an energy of bringing things to fruition. It has an energy of bringing things to light, but it's still untamed because we haven't had a chance to sit with that energy and direct it in the way that we want it to do, and to bring about what we want it to bring about, because it hits us so suddenly. Now, what's special about this full moon and all of its glory, bringing its energy with it, it's going to be very close to us. And so this is why it's a super moon. A super full moon happens when the moon is close to us. So we feel its energy a bit more potently, right? Because it's closer to us. So we have that going on. Not only do we have that going on, we have some other challenging conversations in the skies, or challenging conversations between the planets that are happening in the skies. And I call it conversations because it's easier to kind of convey exactly what's happening. And so if you think about it, think about yourself when you're having a conversation with your best friend, or you're having a conversation with somebody that you get along with. The energy is easy. You're passing ideas, you're laughing, you're keying, and everything is all good because the energy between you and that person, or between you and those people, if it's a group of friends, it's all good. But imagine the person that you don't get along with at work because they always got a snide remark. They always are too critical. They always are very nosy. They always are, you name it. They're doing something that just rubs you the wrong way, or you're doing something that rubs them the wrong way, and the energy between you is just not good. Or every time you get in a room with somebody, you have it's argument, it's frustration, it's, you know what I mean? It's just not easy. And so I like for you to think about it that way, because this is actually what's happening in the sky. It's not the easy conversations that's happening. It's the ones that are hard. It's the one that brings intensity. It's the ones that bring the challenges and the struggles and the conflict. That is what's actually happening. And that is, those conversations are being energized by the energy that the moon is bringing. So what are those aspects or those conversations like that are happening in the sky? Number one, we have oppositions. Number two, we have squares. So oppositions aren't necessarily bad, but they do bring intensity, and it depends on how those planets actually gel or not with each other. So an opposition is the planets standing directly across from one another, right? So like the sun and the moon is directly across from each other. The moon is going to be in Aquarius and the sun is going to be in Leo. That's 180-degree opposition. So we have other oppositions that's coming along. And so oppositions, all of these conversations in the sky, they beg certain questions. And so oppositions, you want to know, the first thing you want to ask yourself when you figure out, is this going to be an opposition, is, okay, what is the level of intensity going to be? Is this aspect bringing balance? Is it bringing challenge? Do these planets get along? Is it a you scratch my back, I scratch your back thing? You do for me, I do, like, you know what I mean? Like, we get along? Or is it going to be a fight? Do they just not mix like oil and water? That's what you need to find out what's going on. And this is what we're going to talk about. The other type of conversation that's going on is the square. And the square is a 90-degree aspect. It's a hard angle. This is a full-on battle, okay? A full-on battle is bringing tension, it's bringing struggle, it's bringing conflict. And the questions that you should be asking when we're having squares is, what is the solution going to be? Because you have to figure out the solution. Like, what is coming up that's causing this challenge that I have to solve? Right? Also, what squares do is they force you to ask the question, where do I find my strength in this? Right? I know there are certain challenges that I have gone through, and I didn't even know that I had the strength that I had until that challenge, that conflict, that struggle brought it out of me. And so that is what the square is going to do. So it ain't necessarily bad, in my opinion. I'm not going to say I like, because it's not always comfortable, but the squares with the challenging energy that it brings, it always brings the aftermath, is the staying power of what that challenge is unearthing, right? And so when you're having a square, you want to ask yourself, who am I now? Who do I want to be, or who will I be when this challenge is over? Right? And that's all about how you're going to solve that conflict, right? So what is the challenge trying to teach you is what you need to be asking, right? How can I dig deep and find my strength? Okay. And so, yes, people are talking about, oh, you need to go hide under a rock. You need to be scared, and you need to do. No, you don't need to do that. You need to be brave, right? And so people, yes, they're going to be not acting like themselves. You might not be acting like yourself, but if you're informed, you need to check that. Like, you're here and you're having this conversation with me right now. If you feel yourself being irrational, you need to check that shit. You need to calm it down, right? So what I'm saying is, understand that the energy is going to bring about irrational behavior in people. It's going to bring shocking things out. Things are going to shock you. Right? The energy might want to take something away from you, but no, if it takes something away from you, that thing that is taken away from you, it don't serve you, and it's going to replace it with something that will, either immediately or eventually. Okay. But it's your job to figure out what the energy is trying to move you toward. How are you going to do that? By asking yourself those questions that we just asked a few moments ago, right? And so to become a better you got to figure out what these challenges are actually trying to bring you, right? It's the challenges, it's the struggles that teach you your strength. It shows you the depths of who you are. It rips layers into you. And no, it might not always be comfortable. comfortable, but you know what? You do become better. And right, without having those, you will never know who you can be. You never know what you can accomplish. So welcome the challenges. Welcome this energy. Know what's going on so that you can use it to get to where you have to go. And understand that whatever experience it brings you, your whole being is going to know why you will or you won't do something, why you will be with somebody, why you won't, why you will do that job, why you won't, why you will put that business in play, why you won't, why you will have that relationship, while you won't. And guess what? Every single last fiber of you, because of the experience that the challenge is bringing you, is going to know why you will or you won't. And I always tell my son, when you have an experience that moves you in such a way, your toenails, why you know why you going to do something and why you won't. So welcome this. Don't hide. Be brave. Right? There will be heightened emotions, but keep your composure. And you know what? The composed is always in control. The composed always win. Just be prepared. And this is why you're here, because I'm preparing you, right? So if it's raining, you want to have your raincoat, your rain boots, and your umbrella. If you're going to be stepping into battle, you want to have your spear. You want to have your sword. You want to have your shield. And you want to have your plan. You want to have a strategy, right? Because you can't win without a strategy. All right. So what are some of those challenging aspects that are happening? We're going to be having on August the 18th. So I'm going a couple days. The new moon is actually going to be on the 19th. So we got to get into what the energy is doing on the days leading up to the full moon, because like I said, the energy from the full moon is energizing all of this stuff. And you can feel the energy from this particular full moon at least a week or two before and a week or two after. So on August the 18th, Mercury is moving into Leo, and it's going to square Uranus in Taurus. And Uranus is all about, it can be all about chaos. It jostles you. It's all about shocking. It's about rebellion. It's about all of those things that's unconventional. It's about the freedom. It's about the split. It's about breaking things apart. Okay. And Mercury is squaring that. So Mercury right now is actually in retrograde. So Mercury in retrograde is like, this is another thing. Like, this is another layer of the conversations that's happening in the sky. Like, with Mercury being retrograde, it's an element of things from the past coming forward, right? And you're going to probably learn something with regards to where it touches in your house that you didn't know before. You're going to have a piece of information that you didn't know. It might be shocking in a good way or a bad way, for better or worse. You're going to find out. Okay. Then, the same day that it actually squares Uranus, Mercury is going to join the sun. And sometimes we say that when a planet joins the sun, its power can be turned down because it's being burned by the sun. We call that being combust. But in this case, it's far enough away from the sun where it's going to be getting good shimmers from the sun. It's going to be getting highlights. We call this a cazimi. This is auspicious. This is luck and opportunity. And so that information that you actually might get might be the information that you need to make the move that you need to make, the one piece that was missing from the puzzle, the one thing that was hidden from you. So you might learn something that's like, yeah, okay, I got this. All right. So you can make a move to becoming a better you, right? By having that information. Now, on the 19th, the next day, we have Venus in Virgo, and it's squaring Jupiter. Now, that may not be so bad because Venus and Jupiter are what we call benefics. They give gifts. They bring us good things, right? And so Venus rules our money. Venus rules our love. Jupiter just gives blessing on blessing, and it expands everything that it touches. But in this square between the two, it might be like, okay, it's showing you where you overdid something, because Jupiter expands something. So in love, Where are you allowing things to fly that probably shouldn't fly? Where are you sweeping things under a rug? Like, how long have you actually done that? Or how long has your partner allowed you to get away with some stuff? Right now, you just might not be able to get away with it. Okay. Where have you overspent? If we're talking about money, right? Where have you overdone your beauty treatments? Like, you need to slow down on the Botox. Quit with them lip injections right now. I'm joking, but I'm saying, like, Venus rules beauty. And so Jupiter squaring Venus is showing you, like, you OD'd, you overdid it. Chill out. Okay. And in the same day, Venus is going to oppose Saturn. And so that's not necessarily good, because Saturn is we call Saturn the taskmaster, but I like Saturn is like that teacher that has the ruler that sticks their finger out. No, you need to get back in line. You can't do this. Saturn is the parent that enforces the rules. And so if you got out of hand with your Venus, with Jupiter squaring it, then Saturn is going to come into play and have you put boundaries back in place, like fix things. Like now you're going to have to pay the piper with regards to wherever you OD'd, you overdid some things. And it's a fast moving aspect, so it's not going to stick around for too long. But if you fucked up, then Saturn is going to get you back in line, and you're going to fix whatever you messed up with regards to that Venus Jupiter conversation. Okay. And so that's what I wanted to say about that. Now, child, the biggie, we're going to have, like, we have a T square. We have a T square. So I want you to think, we talked about the opposition between the sun and the moon. The sun is in Leo, the moon is in Aquarius. And then, like, imagine if you drew a line from the middle of them, and out at the end of that midline of that line that you drew from the middle of each, like, you have Uranus, and Uranus is what we call T squaring, like you draw in a T, right? So Uranus is what we're saying is T squaring the moon. It's T squaring the sun. Ooh, child. Now, we talked about Uranus being what it embodies. Like, it represents, Uranus wants to give you freedom, for better or worse. It wants to free you from, if it's not serving you, Uranus is going real quick. Uranus represents lightning, shocking, action, disruption, sudden, wake up, shake up. It's the wake up, shake up. Okay. And so with Uranus squaring, it's trying to bring you something, or break you away from something, so it can bring you to something. Shockingly, surprisingly, abruptly, and quick. Okay? Abrupt is the same thing as quick, but you get what I'm saying. And it brings chaos with it. You know what I mean? Or it can bring chaos. I mean, it might bring you something that have to make you move quick, but it's something that you actually wanted, right? So before this actually happens, let me back up a little bit. So you have Uranus is in Taurus. The moon and sun are in Aquarius and Leo. We talked about that, right? Lord. We have another big aspect or conversation that's happening. And this conversation this is usually not a good conversation. And this conversation is the square between Jupiter and Saturn. Jupiter and Saturn, they just flat out don't like each other. I mean, not for real. Because maybe they like each other. Maybe they do, but this ain't real. This is not a good conversation. And so Jupiter is in Gemini. And Jupiter is in an air sign. And in Gemini, it tends to be all over the freaking place. Yes, Jupiter expands everything that it touches. It want to give gifts. It wants to do all of those things. But Gemini is an air sign. And so it's all over the goddamn place. It's everywhere. There's no structure to it. It's like, and it can be blown out of proportion. Okay. So then you have Jupiter squaring Saturn. And Saturn is like, oh, hell to the no. Like, that Jupiter kite is not going to fly. Okay? No. We need order. We need order in the court. We need boundaries. Are we following the rules? Like, you giving all of these gifts, you allowing all of this kite to fly. Like, what is this affecting? Right? Is this causing chaos? Have you even checked to see how given this thing is going to affect everything else? No, you haven't. And so we're going to put structure to this. That's what Saturn is doing. But before this square even happens, and it's happening on the same day as the full moon, Lord have mercy. It's being energized by the full moon. So it's even bigger than what it would ordinarily be without this energy giving it that boost. Let's back up a couple days, though. Now, on August the 14th, we had Mars going into Gemini. Now, Mars is like, Mars sets it off. Wherever Mars goes, like it's going into Gemini and it's conjuncting Jupiter. Mars is triggering Jupiter. So Jupiter is already expanding. It's already doing what it's doing. Imagine it being triggered by Mars. It's really going crazy. Mars is energizing Jupiter to go ham. Okay? To go ham. It's like, yes, do you. And it's like, you get a car, you get a car, you get a car. It's giving. We can't have all these cars on the road because they're going to crash. No, I'm just kidding. But Mars is energizing Jupiter. And then Mars and Saturn don't get along. So just think Mars is like the go, go, go. I don't think, I'm just going to go. I'm going to get shit done. I don't care what havoc I wreak in the process of getting done what I need to get done and getting what I want. And Saturn is and it's young energies. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm ready to go. And Saturn is the old, like, gray beard. No. You cannot. You need to calm down. And so on the 16th, Mars squares Saturn, agitating Saturn. Like, nah. Look what I did. I set Jupiter off, and this is going to piss you off. So that's adding fuel to the fire. Okay. But again, Saturn is like, never mind who you thought I was. I'm Saturn, bitch. You are not getting away with this. You're not. Okay? You're not. So it's a lot of stuff going on. And that is what makes this energy so crazy. It is like, we don't know really like what is going to happen. But again, like, we got to be prepared. And at the end of the day, this energy is going to bring us to our better selves, and what it is it's going to make us that much closer, because we are supposed to evolve. We are supposed to grow, and at the end of the day, this energy is helping us to do that. How are you going to use it? How is it affecting you in your chart? Well, we about to get into that right now. What's going on, my Virgos? So what does the planetary energies have in store for you during this August 19th, 2024 full moon that is happening in Aquarius? It's some crazy energy. It's super thick. It's super potent. It's super dynamic and powerful. And guess what? This full moon is energizing every other conversation that's happening in the skies between the planets. So these conversations are a lot more powerful and invigorating and affecting us than they normally would if we were not having such a powerful, potent full moon. So how is the energies affecting you? My dear Virgo, well, right now we have Mercury retrograde in the sign of Leo, and it's been retrograde since August the 4th. Leo is your 12th house, and it's squaring Uranus in Taurus in your ninth house. So this is a very spiritual time for you, because both of those houses are spiritual. So what is Uranus? Uranus wants to give us freedom. Uranus deals with shock and awe. I call it the shake up, wake up planet. It shakes us up. It wakes us up. It can deal with rebellion. It wants to free us. It wants to break us apart. It rules earthquakes and lightning, for doggone it, right? It rules disruption, sudden surprises, and it is squaring Mercury in Leo in your 12th house. Your 12th house is the house that I like to say, if you had to describe the 12th house, it's the closet that has everything thrown in it that's hidden from everybody. You even hide stuff from yourself in that particular closet. So the 12th house, it deals with things that are hidden, things that are below the surface. It rules karma, self-undoing, our soul's growth. It rules our hidden strengths, our hidden weaknesses, dreams, affairs that we might be having. It even rules hospitals and prison systems. And it's being squared by Uranus and Taurus in your ninth house. And your ninth house is your personal belief system. It's also your sense of exploration and your sense of adventure. It's your religious beliefs as well. Your higher, your personal philosophy. It rules higher education and things like that. So when we have Mercury going there, what is coming to the surface from your 12th house that is being activated by aspects of your ninth house. So maybe you're getting sudden downloads of information from your ninth house that's bringing your subconscious beliefs to the forefront at this time. Maybe you're getting glimpses of how you self-sabotage yourself, and it's informing your personal philosophy to where, you know what, you like for instance, what if you have your ideals and goals that you want to achieve, but there's nothing in the way of stopping you from achieving those ideals and goals. It's just you and the four corners of your mind, and you have never realized that it's you that's stopping you from achieving all that life has to offer you. But you get a sudden download of information, like from your higher self, and it shows you how you undo yourself, and you're able to correct this. And you suddenly get this information, like it's suddenly coming to you from your 12th house, and you're able to incorporate it in your personal sense of philosophy and your personal belief system. And I believe that this can happen. It's coming suddenly from the ninth house, because for Uranus is there. I don't necessarily think is a bad thing, because Uranus does not like to be in Taurus. It's in what we call its fall there. So it's not given its full power. So I don't think that whatever is coming from there is too jarring. And then we have Mercury in Leo, and the sun is in Leo right now. And so the sun is exalted in Leo because it rules Leo and it likes to be there. And when the sun is there, we get the warmth of the sun. We get confidence. We're dignified there. We get all of the dignified aspects of the sun, and Mercury going there to join the sun. We're going to get all of Mercury's good qualities, right? So if you're going to get information, and so information, Mercury rules ideas, it rules information, conscious and unconscious, right? So that means your subconscious. Where are you getting those downloads from? Your subconscious, your higher self. It is how we express ourselves. It's how we convey our thoughts. It's how we exchange ideas. This is Mercury. You're getting this good part of Mercury as it joins the sun. And normally we say that when a planet joins the sun, it is combust, which means it's burned and you don't get all of the good qualities. But when it's far enough away, especially Mercury, when it's far enough away, it's in a position which we call the Kazemi, which is auspicious. It gives blessing. It bears goodness to us. And so you're getting that from Mercury. So I think you're getting good information from Mercury that's going to help your soul grow. That's going to help you grow on a spiritual sense. And whatever wasn't working for you, however you were harming yourself, whatever you were doing that was not in your best interest, that you were undoing yourself, you're going to be able to redo it. And it might not feel comfortable because after all, it is coming from Uranus, but you're going to see how you affected yourself and how you sabotage yourself in some way, and you're going to get an opportunity to fix it. And so, moving to the next day, and we're talking about August 19th. This has happened, that all was happening on the 18th. The next day, on August the 19th, which is the day of the full moon, we actually have Venus entering your first house, Virgo. And so how Virgo, we know you could be a critical sign. You could be very detail oriented. You can be very by the book, very scheduled, and very, you got to have things in place. Venus doesn't like to be in your sign because, and I've got to tell you the truth, like it feels too choked and too strangled, and it's in what we call the fall. It can't give us all of its blessing and all of its beauty and all of its splendor when it's under your critical controlling influence. And then it's being squared by Jupiter and Gemini. Jupiter doesn't like to be in Gemini either, and that planet is in what we call in its fall in Gemini. So it doesn't like to be there. So we don't get all of Jupiter's good qualities. We get some of them because after all, Venus and Virgo are benefic and they do give us blessings. Like they're not bad planets at all. But when they square each other, it shows us where we're actually overdoing things. And so how are you overly critical of others in love? How are you overly critical of yourself? Right? How are you handling your money? Because Venus rules money too. Like, do you have personal investments or investments that you wish to endeavor, but you don't because you stay focused on the trend of the day rather than the overall 10-year trend of that investment, which trending up. And so you're not making money. You're at a stalemate. Well, you're going to be shown from your 10th house you're being squared from Jupiter in your 10th house. So you're going to be shown how this is actually being overdone. And you're going to have Venus actually oppose Saturn, or Saturn is going to oppose Venus in your 7th house. So perhaps a partner or a business partner is going to show you how you're overly critical of love, or how you're overly controlling of money. Like you're going to be opposed. It's not going to be easy for you because this is not easy for Venus. It's going to be quick though. It's going to show you, Saturn in that 7th house is going to show you your limitations. So your significant other, your one-to-one relationships is going to show you. They're going to tell you. They're gonna help you understand where it's just a little bit too much going on and help you to put balance back where it needs to be. And then that aspect is going to be over because Venus is a pretty fast moving planet, so it's not going to stay too long. On that same day, we're having the big full moon. And so what is a full moon? A full moon is an opposition. What is an opposition? Opposition is two planets standing across the sky from us, from each other 180 degrees, having a conversation. That conversation could be pleasant. That conversation could be yelling and screaming. It could be not so pleasant. In this case, I think that it's going to be a pleasant conversation. The sun and the moon they do get along. After all, we were talking about the mother and the father. When they come together, they create. And so the sun is actually in Leo. The sun loves to be in Leo because it rules Leo, so it's at home, and we're getting high energy, we're getting confidence, we're getting the warm rays of the sun, we're getting all things good from the sun in Leo. And it's directing that amazing warmth, that awesome energy onto the moon. And so this is happening in your Leo's in your 12th house, and it's directing energy to the moon in your 6th house. Now, Virgo, you actually rule the 6th house. The sixth house is ruled by Virgo, but the moon is there in Aquarius. And what the moon represents is our innermost thoughts, the thoughts that are mostly private to us, our inner desires, what we want on the deepest level. It holds our truest sense of belonging, our secret dreams. And when it's in a certain house, it's with respect to that house. So this is really with respect to you. Like, what is it that you hold personally about you? What is it that you imagine about you? What is your highest ideals about you? Guess what? The sun is shining a light on that. So while it's normally private, it's being held public because the full moon represents a public display. So you're going to be bursting forth with energy with regards to those 6th house things, your schedules, your work routines, your health goals and things like that. What you want will be made public, and you're given energy to do something with that in a good way because the sun is giving it amazing energy. Yes, it's being squared by Uranus in your 9th house, but it's coming from, like I said, this is a spiritual time for you because the sun is in your 12th house, like things that are hidden from you. And then we have the moon there that hides our deepest desires. It's being highlighted from the 12th house of how we undo ourselves, like our hidden weaknesses and strengths and things like that. But it's being squared by Uranus in our 9th house, or in your 9th house, of your personal philosophy and your personal beliefs. And this is a spiritual thing. So I think you're going to be having some extra spiritual help for better or worse. But I think it's going to be a good thing. Moving forward, now the biggest energy that we need to be aware of is actually the Jupiter and Gemini squaring the Saturn and Pisces. This energy has actually been going on since 2020 when Jupiter and Saturn actually came together to form a conjunction. When two planets come together, that is the time that we plant seeds. Think of mother, father coming together, making a baby. So when two planets come together, a seed is planted, an idea is planted. What ideas did you plant during that time 4 years ago in 2020? When we have oppositions like the full moon, when planets speak to each other from 180 degrees away from each other, then that is when we see the fullness of that idea or that seed, when we see the fruits of it come to life. And when we have a square like what we're having now with Jupiter and Gemini, that's the halfway point. Like, it's not the seed is not fully grown, it's growing. And so we have a chance to fix what we need to fix before that thing is made manifest. So that's the beauty of this hard aspect, that this experience is like, yeah, it's not always easy, it's not always comfortable, but at the end of the day, it's working toward our highest good, because you're getting an opportunity to pull out those weeds that will strangle your seed if it is allowed to continue forward by the time we get to the opposition, which is the time of fruit bearing. So what this square is asking you with Jupiter in Gemini and Saturn in Pisces, this is happening in your 10th and your 10th and your 7th houses. Are you in a relationship that you need to be in? Are you in the job that you need to be in? Are you honoring how you like to express yourself on the public stage? That's being asked. Are you in the right relationship? Are you in the right job? That energy is being squared right now. If you're not, the wrong relationship, the wrong job, it's not going to last. And you're going to be asked to find your strength to do what you need to do, because if it's not good, it's going away. It's not going away. It's going away. It's just not going to be here. And then it's being squared by, we have the energy from the Uranus or the full moon. Like, it's giving that extra energy. So do what you can. I'm not trying to tell you to be scared, because at the end of the day, if the relationship goes, it's good that it's going, because then you'll have an opportunity to be in the relationship you're supposed to be in. If the job is going, then it's good, because now you have the opportunity to be in a career that you actually want to be in, that speaks to who it is that you are. And then especially with that full moon happening, like your full moon is highlighting your ideals in your 6th house. Like, that's your work responsibilities, your work duties. Something could be coming about that's for your greatest good. So I don't necessarily think that this is a bad energy for you. It might be a little bit uncomfortable because you have to act swiftly, and the energies is erratic, and that's because it's raw. But at the end of the day, you're going to be asked to find your strength and your power, and you're going to become the best you that you've ever been thus far because of it. So get ready for that. Be prepared. Welcome it. You're prepared because now you know what the energies are bringing you. And so I always say, like, if it's raining, you got your rain boots, you got your umbrella, you got your raincoat, you're prepared. And if you need to fight, you got your sword and you got your shield, and you're ready to go. Fight for the greatest you. Fight for the best you. And be brave. Have courage, and you're gonna win. And let me know in the comments how you handling this energy, because I know the energy is not gonna handle you, because you're gonna keep your composure, and the composed always win. And so if you learned anything from this, if it resonates with you, hit like and subscribe, share with your folks, and let me know in the comments how this energy is working with you, because I really and truly do want to know, you guys. And until next time, keep your hearts open and your spirits connected, babes. Ciao for now.